Guys, welcome back to a brand new show on the Golf Chat Show. Again, we're joined by Paul Roberts, head greenkeeper at Holyhead Golf Club. Thanks so much for coming on again, Paul. I know you have probably been so busy this week.
Yeah, we have. Well, I have. I say we. I think that's just habit.
Yeah.
I've just been prepping as if there's people on the course. To be honest, obviously there's not, but it's starting to grow and everything's filling in, and the course has started to behave as it should. To be honest,
we've had a little bit of rain. We've had some glorious sunshine. Well, I have here in Manchester. I think you have probably have there in Wales as well. It's pretty much prime time. One for golfers, but two for the grass to actually come alive, isn't it?
Yeah. There's certain grasses. Most greenkeepers don't want this particular grass. It's one with a little seed heads that you'll see, and then that's started to kick in now, which sort of tells you, right, the soil temperatures are up, and start cutting us and start doing what you do. So it's sort of nature telling us it's woken up and we're good to go.
So potentially we're going to get some news from Boris Johnson on Sunday. We all don't know what it is. I mean, the speculation that social distancing will be in place, but our exercise may be able to be longer than an hour. Does this mean we potentially could get on the golf course? Do you think, is that what you're preparing for?
I am preparing for that, to be honest. Yeah, we're starting to put things in place ready for the golfers to come back, and we don't know where things lie regarding visitors to place, other golf courses. I think we'll cross that bridge when we're allowed to. I think it's going to be members first, and then kick on from there, which would be right, because we're all chomping at the bit to get out to play. So yeah, we're starting to prep for it, and we, like I told you on Saturday night, that we've ordered certain things to come in ready to go. So I've started to get the flag sticks ready and cups, the brand new cups that are 6 weeks late going out, but so be it.
Oh, how are they looking? Are they looking good?
What, the greens themselves?
Oh no, the new. I know you mentioned.
Oh yeah, they always look good. I think every golfer myself, when years gone by, when I was a junior, I used to play my junior golf at Bangor, which is my local course, and we knew when the new cups were out that, right, let's get playing golf, because the greenkeeper's excited to put them out, because I think every greenkeeper enjoys putting the new cups out. It just feels fresh and new, and right, let's start presenting this course for the golfers again.
Yeah, 100%. So if we do get this news on Sunday that we're allowed to go on golf courses and other sports are allowed to take place, does that mean you won't be on your own from then? Hopefully not anyway. Does that mean you potentially
that's the plan. And then it would be very, if it was Sunday for Monday, for the greenkeepers, that's not ideal, but you know what, we won't question anything from going forward. I think it's sort of getting back to a state of normality for us and for the golfers. So we'll just go with whatever we're given. And so I'll certainly there'll be staff in, and then we'll just get in extra early to get ahead of the golf, because I can imagine it'd be busy to a degree with what will be put in place regarding how the tees are set out and stuff. So yeah, we'll get. I think we'll need a minimum of 2 hours head start on the first set of golfers, and obviously the golfers would be advised to play from the first onwards.
Yeah. So, not starting like the 9th or anything like that, or doing their own loops. So, I mean, it's not ideal, is it, for you in your case? Because in terms of getting the announcement Sunday night, potentially having to open up on Monday, and we alluded this to last week, didn't we? We said guys just need to be wary that the golf courses won't be at their competition speed. They won't be at competition spec. They'll be great. They'll be nice.
Yeah.
But like you said last week, it is just being you trying to maintain a golf course which usually got four to five staff on.
Yeah, it'll be, I would say the majority, not all, because I can't speak for everyone up and down the country, but I think the majority would just be rough around the edges.
Yeah.
I think your playing surfaces, your fairways, like our fairways and tees, are pretty much immaculate. No divots, like somebody touched on Twitter that we were talking about last week. No divots and that. And we've done our sort of work on our fairways and tees. That was done sort of autumn through the winter and obviously very early spring. So that was all in place. So our fairways don't struggle for coverage. So it's just been a case of cutting and slowly but surely sort of bringing those heights down, certainly this week, ready for potential golf coming forward. So yeah, they look, they look really, really sort of in your face and good to go, especially, like I say, the tees and the aprons. Sorry, tees and fairways. Yeah.
Nobody go on the tees, like, don't make a divot.
No, yeah, it'll be. I think it'll be shameful to take the first big divot out of a par 3 tee.
To be that one person. Now, with coronavirus and all this happening, potential of it coming back in the winter. I know we don't want to talk about the negatives, but over the winter, this is where golf courses really kind of change things up, don't they? Put new drainage in and try and make improvements. I know you might not know or what you're going to plan for the winter coming up, but would that potentially stop you doing sort of a program over the winter of like drainage or improvements?
Oh, lost signal.
You got me back?
Gone.
I can hear you. Yeah, well, there's 2 seconds, guys. I can see Paul, I can hear Paul, but I don't think he can hear me right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're back.
Yeah, you're back. Was that you or me?
I don't know, if I'm honest.
Okay. Yeah, you'll have to repeat the last one. Sorry.
No response. So I was saying, in maybe unfortunate circumstances, coronavirus may come back over the winter months. I mean, maybe back into lockdown. Now, over the winter months is where green staff really make some improvements on the golf course, something like put drainage in, do like a winter program. So that could really stop programs like that happening, couldn't it, over the winter months?
Yeah, I think that would probably be one of the first things to sort of be put on the back burner, unless it is absolutely, a tee is virtually sort of falling down a cliff, or a certain fairway is constantly underwater. I think it'll be one of those things that committees will look at and say, you know what, we'll have to sort of really look at cash flow and the way things are going, to put money elsewhere, i.e. staff or an essential machine that needs replacing. So I think it'll be a case of just keep what we've got as good as we can, and then we'll look again maybe at the end of 21 rather than 2020 winter, which is totally understandable from a golfer's perspective. For me, playing at Conway, like we talked about last week, if that's what was emailed out to us, I don't know, late August, September, then personally I'd be absolutely, there'd be no issue with that. Totally understandable. It's, in the scheme of things, it's minor.
Especially since, like you said, golf clubs with cash flow, they're going to be a little bit more wary of investing money in that course, where potentially that money might be needed to pay bills from that budget. For a lot of clubs, I can imagine it being a real sort of learning curve in terms of how they deal with certain income and expenditure, and cutting back here and there. I was thinking, why are we spending this on that? And it's coming into the scheme of things now. Do we need to continue doing that? So I think, again, thinking positive going forward, I think a lot of golf clubs will be a lot more streamlined in terms of where the money goes and how it goes, and obviously where it comes from. I don't think they're going to have a choice, are they?
No. So especially that, we generally talk about your members club, but certainly that's what ours is. And my friends that work at who are green staff tend, they're all at members club, so we tend to be, a lot of us, in the same boat, and that's what we tend to talk about. And exactly what you've touched on there regarding winter work and all that. And it's basically, when we've touched on that, it's almost been laughed off and saying, no, don't think so. Let's just keep it as the course we've got and just improve as we can.
And that has got to, from everybody's point of view, members, committees, anybody on there, that's got to be one of the things that everybody's got to understand. Right, okay, Paul, we've got some questions coming in for you here.
Okay.
When, in your opinion, would non-members be able to play golf? When do you see that happening? Is that like a 2-week period potentially after it's all opened up, maybe?
Well, if you look at the island, because we know for a fact now that Ireland are opening May the 18th.
Yeah.
And it's a 5 kilometre. You've got to be within. How they police that is beyond me, and I don't know whether the clubs go to their data on their members and say, right, you live in so and so and you're 25 kilometres away. You know, sorry, but we're going to have to cancel your booking or whatever. However, they're going to do it. So, you know, certainly in Ireland, the visitor situation is just is not going to happen. But I believe that's going to be staged over time. Will that happen here? Possibly. And so regarding the visitor, well, I wouldn't like to answer that. But with what the RNA put in, with what is, you would have been able to read that through your PGA. There's no mention of a distance to golf clubs, is there?
No.
On the recommendations, no. You know, because I know, well, certainly the North Wales courses, a lot of their members are actually your way, Manchester and Chester and on the Wirral. So that was completely, you know, cut off them. And there's a guy, a friend of ours, who lives, I think it's 3 kilometres away from Conway, but you feel as if it's on the doorstep, and you look at it and you think it's not. So 5 kilometres, not much at all, really.
No.
But if that's how they see it, to keep everything safe and going forward, then who are we touching that?
Yeah, I know you mentioned about. I got a few friends that are is it country members at Conway, because they live a certain distance away. And that whether they would be able to go, because they're still classed as members, but they live like 50, maybe 60 miles away. It's a difficult situation, is what I'd say. Another question for you here, Paul. That was a great one before by Michael, and this one's coming from Lee Jonesy Boy Jones. Question, Paul. Do you think there'll be a limit on the amount of tee times when you get back with the BRS booking system? Now, you mentioned before you're going to need, if it happens on Sunday and we're back out on Monday, you're going to need at least 2 hours. So maybe blocking off most of the morning would be a sensible thing.
Yeah. But with Lee's question there, with limits, I suppose you wouldn't. Is there a possibility that you wouldn't be able to go out after 6 p.m.? Because the pro shop or whoever's marshalling the course finishes at that point. So once the 6 p.m. slot goes and they've teed off the first, then that man or whoever finishes their shift, and that's it. So there's nobody allowed out after that point. I don't know, and I think different clubs will put that in place and obviously do like an assessment on going forward whether that's feasible. So it's a case of, if the clubs have got that in hand, I think again it'll come to individual clubs. And you know, I know certain clubs around here where I live, where they've got no chance of doing that. You know, that can't be policed. There's no way. But I think if it's seen to have been attempted to be policed, I think that might be good enough. Because you can't do any more than that, to be honest.
You can only put certain things in place. If people are going to go do what they want, they're going to do what they want regardless, aren't they?
Yeah.
Now, on a lighter note, Ben Roberts has asked, Paul, what's your favourite golf course?
Oh, good question. I'll go with 3. Most recently, I would say Formby.
Yeah, I like it there. It's nice.
That front 9 is just ridiculously good.
Yeah, wait, let me think. 1, 2, 3, the par 5. Is 3 a par 5?
Yeah, straight down.
Yeah, that second shot is beautiful into the pines. It's so nice.
Yeah, it is class. Yeah, it is. Another one played years ago in like the Champion of Champions with Oliver Farr actually won it that year in Royal Birkdale.
Yeah.
And they, for the final day, they put like Sunday pins, and the greens were like just short of 13, and the slopes at Birkdale's greens, it was just ridiculously tough, but enjoyable. And Birkdale is just, you know, it's a special place. And another one is local to me, Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi is just, I don't know. I think growing up when I was a youngster and just playing at one course, and we went down in like a January, and it just had this like its own microclimate where the greens were just ridiculously good. The course was like what we'd sort of expect in June in terms of playing surface. That place since that day onwards was just anything going on at Abu Dhabi. I will do my best to play. And I've travelled. It's I think it's best part of 2 hours 15 from my house, and it's still within my county. And I've left my house and just gone there for a knock of my own, just to play Abu Dhabi. It's yeah, I love it. So those three, and there's no coincidence, those three are links courses. So
the purest form of golf, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I've never played Abu Dhabi, actually. I need to get out there. We've got another question here for us, Paul, for both of us. Damien Scales, do we think new members will be able to join golf clubs? So, for example, if you're not a member and you thought, well, only members are allowed, do you think that you'll be able to join? Because there's a double-edged sword here, because one, it's going to be more people, but then it's actually going to bring some more income to the golf club. So what's your think on that?
I don't think any club with the situation that's certainly coming out of it will say no to the guy that or lady that emails and says, I'd like to join your club. I just can't see them getting a negative reply. And going forward, they'll just manage, if they've got, I don't know, 500-600 members becomes 7, they've got another. I think any golf club up and down the country will be absolutely over the moon with that extra revenue to sort of put their club, if they've been struggling, to put them in a strong position again. Because I don't think any club would turn their nose up at a few extra quid coming out of this.
No, I totally agree. I think we sort of said about it last week. I think it's going to have a positive impact on golf, because I think more people are going to pick it up. I think those people who were just maybe a social golfer or somebody who played on business trips, I think they'll start to turn into actual members of golf clubs, because one, what other sports can they play? There's not many others apart from cycling, potentially, that you can safely social distance. I know the one thing with golf, it's relatively expensive, but if you find a place and you're willing to search around, you can get an affordable membership these days, can't you, as well?
Yeah, you can. And what will be put in with the recommendations is pretty much you leave the 18th green, or the 9 if you're a 9-hole course, and you basically get in your car and you go.
Yeah.
There's no hanging around, and if somebody's a new golfer and not overly confident with their own game and get embarrassed taking shots in front of other people, which we've all been through right from the beginning, for them to sort of jump in the car and go home and not feel slightly obliged to go in the clubhouse or to hang around, then that might suit, actually, because that's sort of a football thing. The final whistle goes, you get changed, right, see you next week, lads, and off you go. So I think we touched on that last week, where retired footballers or lads who were on mid-30s or late 30s who were coming to their end of their lower league football and thinking, do you know what, I enjoyed golf when I was a kid and I think I'll go again. And I think there's a massive market for that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I hope they do. I hope loads of people do join and save some golf clubs and make some a lot stronger. Now, on a different note, totally coronavirus non-related, you've got a story about, I know, everything seems to be associated about it right now. You've got a story about Eddie Pepperell, right? You messaged me this after last week's show and been speaking in between. I need you to tell everybody this story.
Oh, with which one? I can't remember which one.
So I'll read it out to you. You put your brother who lives in Oxford.
Oh yeah. My brother's very friendly with Eddie, and we've played. I remember going down. Eddie would have been about 11 or 12 when my brother sort of got friendly with him, and they were playing a scratch match, and I watched him, and he was just so keen. I think from 100 yards in, if it wasn't within 6 feet, he would go mad, and this lad was like 11, 12, and going through the English Golf Union, something special. But my brother caddied for him, and they became mates after. My brother's a fair bit older than Eddie, but they became pally, and my brother caddied for him in a Welsh event in Harlech, which is not far from here, which is just north of Abu Dhabi, funny enough, and they won that. And then he won in his first year, if I remember right, on the Challenge Tour in France, and my brother did that one as well. My brother's gone on to do something different since, but we all know what Eddie's gone on to. So yeah, I played with Eddie last year. We tried to do something every year, and last year didn't pan out, but the year before, and my dad went down and partnered Eddie in against me and my brother down in Frilford Heath, and put it this way, I don't think my dad put a score on the card. We played off the back tees, and yeah, it was just a laid back game of golf, but it was very, very impressive. His ball striking and his shot making is as you'd expect of a player of that caliber who's won twice now on the European Tour, is just top drawer, and he's fun to read about on Twitter as well. He doesn't hang back, and I
was going to say that. Is he like you on Twitter? Because on Twitter I watch him and I'm just howling at some of the stuff that he puts on there.
Yeah,
does not sit on the fence.
No, he is. There's no hiding. Some pros sort of almost go Alan Shearer like in front of the camera, where you're Wayne Rooney. We all know that Wayne Rooney's not like that behind the scenes as he is in front of the camera, and a lot of pros sort of tend to drop into that sort of media person. He doesn't do that at all. We all know that, and yeah, he's very, very good. And, he just says it as it is, and I think that's a fresh air for, especially over the last 10 years. Well, like we say, we've almost been like robots in front of the camera and sort of said what we want to hear. And so, remember the Open a couple of years ago where he did well. He said he was absolutely lashed the night before and had shot 5-6 under it, wherever it was. And
I remember that interview, had too many red wines or something along those lines.
yeah. So yeah, he is as he comes across, to be fair. I think that's what so many people have taken to him.
Yeah, I really like him. One, of how he plays golf, but also what it seems like a fantastic sense of humour. Another non-related COVID question, which is a rarity on the show. Your fancy golfer. So I'm talking about driver swing, iron swing, short game, so pitching and chipping and bunker play, and then putting. Who is your fancy golfer, guys? And if you, we're going to listen to what Paul says now, and if you listen to this, do comment who your fancy golfer would be down below, because it'll be interesting to see what people pick. Okay,
so you want mine?
Yeah, let's hear yours, Paul.
Well, driver, I think 99.9% are going to come with McIlroy, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone to touch him. No. And the next one might surprise a few, but he is a major champion, and is Henrik Stenson.
Yeah.
I worked for Bega at St Andrews St Andrews 2005, 10, and I did Lytham at 12. And Stenson was in 2005 was out with Nick Price, and I was bunker raking following round. What was it, 2000? I can't remember, but his ball striking was ridiculous, and I can't repeat what Nick Price was saying to me because he doesn't hang back either. His language is on a different level. He was just, he was a new boy on the block, Stenson, in them days. I think it was probably 2005, and it was just class. It's different noise to anyone else. It just gets crunched. And then I've got short game, Shane Lowry. I think it's well documented how good his short game is, and obviously an Open champion as well. And putter would be Ricky Fowler.
Yeah. Yeah, so no one's mentioned him yet, actually. He's a serious putter, Ricky Fowler.
It's a no-nonsense putting stroke. It's just not, it's not robotic. It's just putter in hand, swing it back, strike through, and, it tends to pop in.
He gets instant pace as well. Doesn't believe in dying it in, does he?
Yeah, no. And I'm just looking at my list now, and I don't know how I've not put Woods in there, but
I'm going to say Tiger's not even featured one bit. It's amazing, actually. I've done this with everybody that's come on the show, and I think Tiger's not featured as much as you think he would. I know, obviously, in my opinion, he's still one of the best golfers in the world. But I think the fact that people don't see him play as much now, I know he didn't play a lot in his pomp anyway, but and that they sort of think, well, Tiger could shoot 66, but also he could shoot 76 at the same time. But his level is no way near where he needs to be.
Yeah, and isn't it mad that probably about 3 years ago, it'd have been without a doubt Spieth as putter.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Gone off the planet.
Yeah, disappeared now. Well, in recent times, I'm sure he'll get it back. But, you know, it shows some of the flaws that were there were sort of masked by his putting. And now his putting's not quite as good. Everything else has sort of come out of sync as well. It's, I'm sure, you know, he's better than you and I'll ever be. But he's, I'm sure it's, you know, we're always sort of opinionated when we see these like stars on TV and we follow them, and then you just see them dip. And you know, we've all got opinions on our favourite players and the ones we don't like. And yeah, I followed him at Birkdale, and that was just ridiculous how good he was that final day coming back. And yeah, I'm sure he'll feature again, put it that way.
Yeah, but you made that clear there where you said his whole game sort of faltered off, and it just shows how his whole game is built around his putting. It's definitely his strength and it's his weapon, isn't it?
Yeah, because you know, his driving was never sort of. I'm sure he wouldn't feature in anyone's sort of best driver, you know. And that OB shot he hit as well and got away with murder. If that was you and I, that's out of bounds. That's 3 off the tee, isn't it?
Waving it goodbye, aren't we?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So my wife and my son were there waiting at the green. We were waiting there for about a quarter of an hour, and Wayne Riley was stood by the side of us, and obviously he was off fair, and his blue language to the crowd, you know, what is going on over there, etc., etc. And then this ball comes over, and then and then on the next, is it 13? The next way, just stiffs it. Yeah, but yeah, it was good.
Final question, Paul, because I know you want to get out at 7 o'clock for the NHS clap. So I saw on Golf Monthly before that golfers who work at the NHS have been offered free rounds. And that's a fantastic thing, isn't it? Like we've seen it at Tesco's, all major supermarkets have been doing something similar. And I think it's a nice thing. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, well, funny enough, my wife's a nurse and consultant nurse as well. And so I'll have to clap for her when so the but it's just, you know, the free golf is just a small sort of gesture, sort of goodwill gesture, you know, come and have a knock on us sort of thing, you know, thank you very much. And I think, you know, the clubs that do that and the NHS workers that take advantage of that offer, then, you know, fair play, both sides of the coin. So yeah, it'll be nice to see where, you know, there's a 2 ball on the tee and, you know, you both know that they're both paramedics or the nurses or the doctors, and it just makes you think, yeah, that's pretty cool, that's smart.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for on the show again, Paul. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, pleasure. Anytime.
And guys, thank you so much for all the questions. Sorry we've not been able to answer all of them. If you do post them down below, I'm sure we'll get Paul on again and we'll answer as many of these questions as we can. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you tomorrow at the same time.